Hi guys, it's Aunt Nicole. I wanted to read you guys a book today. It's called Alejandro's Gift by Richard E. Albert. It's a very nice cover. I like the illustrations. Oh, illustrated by Sylvia Long. See the inside? It's a pretty picture. Alejandro's small adobe house stood beside a lonely desert road. Beside the house stood a well and a windmill to pump the water from the well. Water for Alejandro and his only companion, a burro. A burro is kind of like a donkey. It was a lonely place, and Alejandro welcomed any who stopped by to refresh themselves at the well. But visitors were few, and after they left, Alejandro felt lonelier than ever before. See, he lives out in the desert. That's what Arizona looks like, except more houses. Skip the page. Okay. To more easily endure the lonely hours, Alejandro planted a garden filled with carrots, beans, and brown onions, tomatoes and corn, and melons and squash and small red peppers. Most mornings found Alejandro tending the garden and watching it grow. These times he cherished and often stayed for hours until driven indoors by the desert heat, because it gets really hot in the afternoon time. The days went by one after another with little change, until one morning when there was an unexpected visitor. The visitor came not from the desert road, but from the desert itself. See, he's fixing up a little garden. Got all the little seeds and stuff all planted already. A ground squirrel crept up from the underbrush. Moving warily across the sand, it hesitated and looked around. Alejandro paused, keeping very quiet as the squirrel approached the garden. It ran up to one of the furrows, drank its fill of water, and scampered away. After it left, Alejandro realized that for those few moments his loneliness had been all but forgotten. And because he felt less lonely, Alejandro found himself hoping the squirrel would return again. See all this little garden, how it's growing? And look, a cute little squirrel. They don't have bushy tails out here. They kind of look like chipmunks. The squirrel did come again, from time to time, and bringing along some small friends. Wood rats and pocket gophers, jackrabbits, kangaroo rats, pocket mice. Birds, too, became aware of Alejandro's garden. Roadrunners and gila woodpeckers, thrashers, cactus wrens, sage sparrows, mourning doves, and others came in the evening to perch on the branches of a mesquite bush or to rest on the arms of a long saguaro, that's a cactus, before dropping down for a quick drink before nightfall. Occasionally, even an old desert tortoise could be seen plodding towards the garden. You see all the animals? Got the bunny rabbit right there, the jackrabbit. Got some pretty birds. And see, that's a saguaro. It's the big, tall cactus. We've got all the little animals down here. See, there's the tortoise. Can't really see because of the book. That's the tortoise too. So they all come to his garden for water. Water's really hard to find in the desert because it's so hot. Suddenly, Alejandro found that the time was passing more quickly. He was rarely alone. He had only to look up from his hoe, or wherever he might be at any moment, to find a small friend nearby. For a while, this was all that mattered to Alejandro. But after a time, he wasn't so sure. He began asking himself if there was something more important than just making himself less lonely. It took Alejandro a little time to see there was. He began to realize that his tiny desert friends came to his garden not for company, but for water. And he found himself thinking of other animals in the desert. Sitting there, what to do, what to do. Animals like the coyote and the desert gray fox, the bobcats, the skunks, the badgers, the long-nosed coatis, the peccaries, also sometimes called javelina, the short-tempered wild pigs of the desert, the antlered mule deer, the does, the fawn. Finding enough water was not the problem. With his windmill and well, Alejandro could supply ample water for any and all. Getting it to those who needed was something else. The something else, Alejandro decided, was a desert water hole. See all the animals? How far they come and they see that there's water and they want some? So what Alejandro's going to do is he's going to dig a big watering hole, and that's big enough for all the animals to drink out of. Without delay, Alejandro started digging. It was tiring work, taking many days in the hot desert sun. But the thought of giving water to so many thirsty desert dwellers was more than made up for the drudgery. And when it was filled, Alejandro was pleased with the gift he had made for his desert friends. There was good reason to suppose it would take some time for the larger animals to discover the new source of water, so Alejandro was patient. He went about as usual, feeding his burro, tending his garden, and doing countless other chores. Days passed, and nothing happened. Still, Alejandro was confident. But the days turned into weeks, and it was still quiet at the watering hole. Why, Alejandro wondered, were they not coming? What could he have done wrong? You see, he made a really nice watering hole. He made it nice and big for everybody to come around, and it was right near his well and his windmill. The absence of the desert folk might have remained a mystery had Alejandro not come out of the house one morning when a skunk was clearing beyond the watering hole. Seeing Alejandro, the skunk darted to safety in the underbrush. It suddenly became very clear why Alejandro's gift had been shunned, or was being shunned. Alejandro couldn't believe he had been so thoughtless. But what was important now was to put things right as quickly as possible. So the animals were afraid because the watering hole was so close to Alejandro's house, they thought Alejandro was going to hurt them. They don't know any better. Oh, excuse me. Water hole number 2 was built far from the house and screened by a heavy desert growth, so lots of trees and bushes. When it was filled and ready, Alejandro waited with mixed emotions. He was hopeful, yet he couldn't forget about what happened the first time. As it turned out, he was not disappointed. Yeah! See, he's digging another one. It's a little farther away from the house, so the animals shouldn't be afraid of it. It's fine. Haley wanted to hear story time too. The animals of the desert did come, each as it made its own discovery. Because the watering hole was now sheltered from the small adobe house and the desert road, the animals were no longer fearful. And although Alejandro could not see through the desert growth surrounding the water hole, he had ways of knowing it was no longer being shunned. By the twitter of the birds gathering at the dusk, by the rustle of the mesquite in the quiet desert evenings, telling of an approaching coyote, a badger, or maybe a desert fox, by the approach of hoofbeats from the mule deer, and the unmistakable sound of the herd of peccaries charging towards the waterhole. They go, they're like piggies. See all the animals, how they're coming out? And that's the watering hole. And they'll all come and take a drink. And that's the javelina. Those are the peccaries they're talking about. They've got big, long tusks. And in these moments when Alejandro sat quietly listening to the sounds of his desert neighbor, he knew that the gift was not so much a gift he had given, but a gift he had received. And see, the animals still come around. The little chipmunk's not afraid of Alejandro. He says, "Hello, thank you for the water." In the back of the book, this is my favorite part. They show you all the different animals and plants and stuff that they included in the book. I really like that, because they showed a bunch of animals even I didn't know existed. Like the, where was it? Like the pocket gopher. I didn't know we had gophers. It says here that it spends most of its time underground in underground burrows, some of which can be as long as 150 feet. Let's see, they live by themselves and often fight other gophers that they meet. Okay, so they're not too friendly, but that's okay. And let's see, and they talk about the coyotes. I've seen coyotes. They kind of look like small dogs. And they can run as fast as 40 miles per hour and leap as far as 14 feet. They run with their tails down, unlike wolves, which run with their tails straight behind them. I wonder why. They also have mule deer over here. And we have deer. Damien goes hunting sometimes for those. And they have large ears and one of the most common animal in the desert. Their diet consists of grasses, twigs, and cactus fruit. And we can eat cactus fruit too. You can actually cook them. Mule deer can run up to 35 miles per hour and can jump as far as 25 feet. Wow, that's crazy. I really like this book because it showed all the different types of plants and animals that we can see if you just go outside of the city in the desert. Anyway, I love you guys and I'll see you later. Hi guys, this is a follow-up video. So after I read you that story, I got 2 great, awesome birthday cards. The first one is from my sister Diana. And it says, "God knew we'd be sisters who would always be good friends." I don't know how well you can see that. But it's pretty and it's purple. And it's got some blue and some yellow in there. It's really nice. It says, "Every day I thank heaven for you. Happy birthday with love." Aww, thank you. And then the next birthday card I got was kind of a surprise. Because it came with a whole thing of confetti. See? Oh no. I gotta be careful because it's gonna get all over the floor like it just did. And on the outside, it has little hungry birdies, and they're gonna eat gummy worms. And the gummy worms are all sparkly. Mm-hmm. And inside, past all the confetti, it says, "Wishing you sweet surprises on your birthday." And it says, "Happy birthday from Jason. I miss you, Aunt Nicole." And it looks like little Aiden said, "Happy birthday, Aunt Nicole." And maybe Dominic too. Yeah, I see Dominic wrote in here too. It's really pretty. I love this. I'm going to keep all the confetti for next year too. Also, this Valentine's Day, I got a very nice video from Alexis and Justice and little Zachary, and they were wishing me happy Valentine's Day. So I wanted to say happy Valentine's Day, and I love you too. I hope you guys really like my story. If you want me to read you something else, just let me know. Hopefully, I'm going to send you out another video soon. But I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.